A very good morning to you. Welcome to Mornings with Ken Rosato. I am Ken Rosato. That's weird, isn't it? How does that work out? Today is Wednesday, July 29th, 2026. We'll take your calls at 888-658-0234 to kick things off. Meteorologist Mike Favetta, podcast near you.
Weather is brought to you by Viking Pest Control. Visit vikingpest.com.
So we had to put 6 gallons of antifreeze into the weather computers this morning just to get them to turn on. I think they got a little work yesterday, Mike.
Oh yeah, they were smoking yesterday afternoon, overheating with the amount of rain that fell. The storm activity, the lightning alone was wild to see that lightning roll across New Jersey. And yes, of course, the severe weather. Well, with more than 6 inches of rain that fell across some parts of the state, all due to that very slow moving upper level system with a lot of energy, it dumped several inches of rain. So these are the radar estimates there toward Morristown. Close to 4 inches of rain fell Hackensack, but it was Patterson that got hammered with some rain, heavy rainfall, and even back over toward Flemington and just to the north, right there on the Warren County, Hunterdon County border. Again, a lot of rural areas there, but where the inner city areas are over toward Patterson, really getting slammed with some heavy rains. Even Hackensack close to 3 inches. Down the shore, not as much. So it was definitely a northern New Jersey impact yesterday, and now that shifts eastward. So all of the flash flooding risk is over in New England today, whereas just the tiny portion of northeastern New Jersey may have another round of heavy wet weather this morning. The heat continues down across for most of the country, down across the southeast, with all of that heat remaining today, and it's going to be a warm one again. Even that humidity remains high because as long as this system is stuck in place, as it will be right through tomorrow and right through Friday, we really don't see an improvement into the weather until it moves away, and that doesn't happen for several days. So right through the day on Friday, continued clouds and showers with the higher humidity. Have to wait until Saturday for some clearing to move on by. We'll talk more about the Saharan dust and how that impacts the tropics coming up, Ken, in just a few minutes.
All right, so very good. Appreciate that. We check the thing called traffic out right now, and it's kind of ugly. So let's look at it. We have an issue, actually two issues now on I-80. We have a crash on I-80 westbound east of exit 58, Madison Avenue in Patterson. Pam has this shot. 2 left lanes of the 3 lanes are currently closed, and look at the backups being caused by this. An absolute positive mess. And this goes on for about 2 miles. So just beware of that. And then we also have an issue on I-80 westbound west of 61, which is River Road in Elmwood Park. The hint is it's called River Road. I'll let you figure out what that's about because of all the rain we had yesterday. So that is right lane of 4 lanes closed. That is partially due to all the heavy rains and flooding that we had last night and yesterday, and could still have, as Mike was saying, could still get some more storms. We have a disabled bus on the Turnpike Eastern Spur northbound north of interchange 15W. That's I-280 in Kearney. All lanes open. Bus is in the right shoulder right now. And then your Hudson River crossings, the Lincoln Tunnel approach is going to take you in to Manhattan in about 25 to 30 minutes. So it's not the worst way to go, but it's not the greatest either. You can see it's moving just slowly. As long as you see motion, I always say that's a good thing. The Lincoln Tunnel is definitely, I would say, the B choice. Definitely not the A choice right now is the Holland Tunnel. Check this out. This is Route 139, making your way from the Turnpike right into the tubes, and you can see on the extreme right and extreme left, they're not moving, and that is not a good thing. What you do see moving is the local lanes, and that's taking you into Jersey City. But as for the tubes, not good. Holland Tunnel is a 40-minute ride right now. Your best bet is going to be the GWB, and you'll check this out. Even though it's heavy, it is moving. So check out our GWB approach 8095. And you can't even see any traffic here because this is the 1 mile point. Actually, it's about 1.5 miles, excuse me. 1.5 mile point from this point into Manhattan. Just beyond the cameras, that's where it slows down. It's only about 20 minutes. This is definitely the nicest ride in to Manhattan right now. In terms of Los Angeles traffic, if we go over to the West Coast, we have a traffic collision right now reported in Altadena on the 5 at Lankershim Boulevard off-ramp. There's another collision reported South LA at South Santa Fe Avenue and South Reyes Avenue. And we have a traffic collision right now in Baldwin Park on 60 at Phillips Ranch Road. It is 5 minutes after the hour. Let's just talk about New Jersey first. We do have some video from around the state. We had wild weather reports of tornadoes, no confirmations from my end that I've read. Mike knows better. But there were a lot of this. There was a lot of this throughout New Jersey yesterday. Black clouds, people seeing some spinning, tornadic looking action, incredible downpours. I got stuck a few times on highways where you could not see a foot in front of you. People were off to the right, stopping at overpasses, their flashers on, their hazard flashers on, going 5 miles an hour. This was the case. The good news is there weren't a lot of crazy drivers trying to get around it. You just couldn't. But there was, a lot of heavy water slowing things down on the highways. Again, if you see areas of flooding, don't try to go through the water. Just flip it around and go around. You're not going to get a ticket for that because you are saving your life potentially and somebody else's. So if you see standing water, don't, they call it, they say, don't, what do they say? Turn around, don't drown, right? And that's what you want to do. Follow that. Pam was like, yeah, I was about to tell you. Don't, I'm sorry, I'm just resetting our phones as I talk to you because for whatever reason, let's see. All right, now my phone system's working. But you just don't want to take the risk. It's not worth it for the extra 30 seconds to turn around and take an alternate route. But this is what we had up and down New Jersey. Sporadic reports of power outages from the high winds, a lot of areas of flooding, the typical areas that flooded yesterday. So anything named river, named lake, named ocean, those areas all had little, at least momentarily, had areas of flooding. And of course, you have right here, look at that, just incredible weather. New Jersey had top of state to bottom. Lower part of the state apparently had some more dense, heavy flooding rains than the upper part, but I think nobody was spared. And then it goes right into, you could see right over to New York, you had a mess. This is the view, I believe, what is it? That's from like Staten Island, that first view, looking up toward the lower New York. And that would be the New Jersey view looking across. And this is in central New Jersey right here. Unbelievable. It's a good thing we got through it. Just make sure, again, you ever get caught where you don't know the water levels, don't try to drive in. Over to Wisconsin. Powerful tornadoes tore through northeastern Wisconsin on Monday, causing extensive damage to homes and businesses while knocking out power to more than 30,000 customers there. The storm heavily impacted communities, including Menasha and Appleton, where buildings were destroyed, roads became impassable, and emergency crews had to search damaged neighborhoods. Despite the widespread destruction there in Wisconsin, officials reported no confirmed fatalities or serious injuries as recovery efforts and damage assessments continue. Political leaders from across the U.S. and around the world gathered in Washington to honor the late Senator Lindsey Graham yesterday during memorial services at the U.S. Capitol. Washington National Cathedral itself was just decked out, just absolutely beautiful. Leaders from around the world were there. Graham, who died suddenly on July 11th at age 71, was remembered as a skilled deal maker and close ally of President Trump. His funeral drew prominent figures, including Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, before his burial in South Carolina. Rest in peace. Grenadian authorities say the search for 44-year-old North Carolina resident Elizabeth Liz Waddell remains an active missing person investigation. Waddell was last seen swimming at Grand Anse Beach on July 22nd, with surveillance footage showing her entering the water there, but not emerging. That's the thing. So she went into the water. They don't think anything suspicious happened from her traveling companion. That's at least the account that we have. They remain hopeful that Waddell will be found alive as search efforts continue with help from local residents and her husband, who has traveled to Grenada. It is 10 minutes past the hour. A 15-year-old suspect is in custody after a shooting at Seattle's Bite of Seattle Food Festival left 3 people dead, several others injured. Police say the teen who did this, allegedly, exchanged gunfire with a 19-year-old associate who was also killed, and believe that a third suspect may still be involved. Investigators say the shooting appears to be gang-related, although strangely, the very liberal people who run Seattle the mayor there, who is borderline socialist, and the police chief, who's just taking orders from the mayor, wouldn't use the word gang. They said small groups. This is what socialists do, and they have done through history. They rename things. So, like, for instance, instead of raising taxes, Mikey Sherrill and her ilk here in New Jersey say investments. When you want to spend $70,000 on a student in a school and they end up dropping out anyway, that's not called taxes. That's called an investment. And this is what socialists do. They play with words like that. During Obamacare, they had new words for health insurance, government issued health insurance. And in this case now, instead of gangs, they referred to these kids as small groups. Small groups. They're frickin' gangs. Illegal aliens are migrants, not illegal. They're illegal aliens. They're non-citizens. Stop with the renaming. It's not going to work. Your PR people are full of crap. All right. And these kids were gang bangers. Let's just call it what it is. And that's what caused this absolute mess in what used to be a beautiful city. Homeless would be, what is it, home challenged or whatever they're using now instead of homeless, or those without homes. Stop it. They're homeless. We're not trying to condemn them, but stop trying to rename them to make it more sanitary. It is what it is. So they're searching for additional suspects at this point. We'll see what happens. A 15-year-old Colorado boy, Levi Strobel, was killed after being struck by lightning while hiking on Mount Blue Sky with his family. His family says Levi was trying to protect his younger brother when the lightning struck. Poor kid. Rest in peace. That is so sad. Describing his final actions as courageous and selfless, his brother was airlifted to a Denver area hospital. Two other hikers got minor injuries. Excuse me, I haven't had my full coffee yet, so I'm not functioning right. Authorities expressed condolences as the families mourn the loss of the teen. The prediction market, Kalshi. Well, it's challenging Wisconsin's longstanding law prohibiting voters from betting on elections in which they cast ballots. So, I mean, I get that. Listen, if you're going to follow through, that makes sense. But a lot of the conservative, well, let's put it this way. A lot of the liberal groups don't like Kalshi because it tends to attract libertarian types. So they're saying, okay, if you want to bet on the election with Kalshi, you can't come and actually vote. Okay. So they're calling this a type of voter restriction or suppression. State election officials say the law dates back to 1849, Ken Rosato. It's not a new thing of liberals against conservatives, Ken Rosato. And it's intended to protect election integrity by preventing financial incentive, of course. The dispute comes as prediction markets grow in popularity and nationwide all over the place now. Several states continue legal battles over whether election betting should be regulated. And shark sightings, dun dun. Dun, 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 dun. They're increasing along U.S. beaches this summer as warmer waters and growing fish populations bring more sharks closer to shore. And I'd say, environmentally speaking, this is a very good sign because in the 60s and 70s, we were fishing for shark, and they are fish, right? They're not like whales or mammals, but sharks are fish. And we overfished them. And now there are regulations as to how large they can be when you fish them, etc. So they're growing in population. Bad for us, good for the sharks. Time to fish them again. You start fishing them and serving shark steaks and things like that, mako shark, yummy. You will see the population decrease a little bit, but it is what it is. And yes, it is the warmer water. If you look at seasons with El Nino and La Nina, you'll see shark sightings increase during these years. So, it's not that it never happened before. I'm tired of hearing people say, we never used to have sharks near shore. Sharks have always existed in the ocean. They're one of the most ancient breeds of fish. They'll always be here. You could go out and hunt all you want. You'll always have sharks out there. Always. It's their domain, right? It is 15 minutes actually past the hour. When we return, e-bikes and e-scooters have become a popular way to get around, but a growing number of serious and sometimes deadly crashes and are raising new concerns about safety and what people do before they get on. Plus, meteorologist Mike Favetta's forecast after all the rain. Are we expecting more? You're watching Mornings. We're back in 2 minutes. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato for your Wednesday live in New Jersey and New York. Now we welcome our friends in Los Angeles at 17 minutes past the hour. We'll take your calls at 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the forecast near you.
Weather is brought to you by Viking Pest Control. Visit vikingpest.com.
All right, Mike, how's the forecast looking today after that busy day yesterday?
A little drier, Ken, but not by much. There's actually some more showers in the forecast, as is the case pretty much every day this week. Now, yesterday was the worst, considering how much rain fell in that short amount of time. So going back the last 24 hours, you see the areas in red, close to 4 inches of rain. And all of this fell in a very short amount of time yesterday afternoon, which is why most of the Hackensack River boxed in that green area in Bergen County. That's still a flood warning that goes through 11 o'clock this morning. Back over toward the lesser populated areas of New Jersey, where it's more rural, closer to 6 inches of rain by Lebanon, Bloomsbury, all the way out Route 78 before you hit Pennsylvania. So a lot of wet weather there, and even up toward the mountains. So this rain in the rural areas really helping things along to end the drought, but still in the more densely populated urban areas where you have the runoff, all of that water pooled very quickly. So early this morning, we start off cloudy. It's a little drier, especially with the heavy rain moving eastward, but we're not done with the wet weather yet because the hot and humid weather out to the west continues, which is what's keeping this low pressure parked across the northeast, not allowing for any movement even through the day tomorrow as the warm and really excessive heat, if you will, spreads all the way down to the desert southwest through San Diego, through LA. The cloud cover just digs its heels in here across the northeast and keeps it cloudy, even though it won't be raining heavily right through the day on Friday. So plan on the muggy weather, plan on the humidity to last. We don't see much in change because, again, that low is just meandering over the northeast, not really going anywhere. It's like stuck on parkway traffic, if you will, not moving. With the high pressure that's trying to sneak its way in, at least by Friday afternoon into Saturday, we should see some clearing to start the weekend. It may not last, though, because come Sunday, another round of rain moves in, and that'll give us some light showers as well to start off next week. So the longer range forecast into the weekend has maybe some clearing by Friday and especially into Saturday, but it's right back to the clouds come Sunday with more rain on the way even by the end of the Sunday period. And then Monday, I think Tuesday finally clears out very nicely with lovely weather on the way. So we're getting there, Ken. It's a slow crawl as we try and bring out some sunshine.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. It is 71 degrees northern New Jersey right now, 68 degrees in Trenton, 67 degrees in Cape May. Over to Los Angeles, we have 69 degrees LA and 69 degrees in San Diego. Checking traffic, we do have a lot of issues to tell you about. Let's start over here in Elmwood Park area. This is by I-80. Yep, we have delays on I-80 eastbound from east of exit 37, Hibernia Avenue in Rockaway Township. Actually, we have several things here. To east of exit 39, Route 53 in Denville. Now we have, my gosh, a whole bunch of things here. What happened to the other 80, Pam? I think they just updated it. Pam had a good shot for us. All right, so this one here, Pam, that I have here, this is delays on I-80 westbound east of exit 61, River Road, Elmwood Park to exit 58, Madison Ave, Patterson. And then we have another incident here. This is I-80, this is westbound west of 61. And this is by River Road, Elmwood Park, right lane, 4 lanes closed. So I think that's the one you got right there. All right, yes, it is. I'm sorry, folks. We got traffic popping up all over the place now due to the flooding we had yesterday. We have an issue now, a crash with property damage, New Jersey Turnpike northbound by James Fenimore Cooper service area. That's in Mount Laurel. All lanes are open. Vehicles on the right shoulder, but that's causing a bit of a slowdown. We have a crash on Route 21 northbound at exit 11, Paulison Avenue, Passaic. 2 left lanes of 3 lanes closed. And then on the Turnpike, we have a disabled bus, Eastern Spur northbound, north of interchange 15 WI 280 in Kearney. All lanes open. Buses on the right shoulder, causing a lot of rubbernecking as people go through there. Hudson River crossings, we're going to just mention in advance that the GWB is your best bet. But look at the Lincoln Tunnel approach. This is making your way to Columbia Avenue by 495. It is stopped. And that is going to cost you a solid 40 to 45 minutes in. Holland Tunnel, not much prettier than that. This is Route 139 from the Turnpike. Look at that, just dead stop from the Turnpike to the tubes. That's 45 minutes in. And now, your best bet, GWB upper and lower levels, 8095 approach, really not so bad. This is only going to cost you about 15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes. Considering what the other two look like, that's actually your best bet. So we go over to Los Angeles, our friends in LA, and this is what we have there. Remember, it's only 4:23 in the morning, but there is traffic to tell you about in LA. We have, let's see, traffic collision, South LA on South Santa Fe Avenue at South Reyes Avenue. We have a collision now on Baldwin Park on 60 at Phillips Ranch Road, and a collision in Santa Fe Springs on the 605 at Peck Road. 23 minutes past the hour. E-bikes and e-scooters have become a popular way to get around, but a growing number of serious and sometimes deadly crashes are raising new concerns about safety. For Tram Huynh, what began as a fun ride while visiting New York ended up with a severe ankle injury, surgery far from home, and ultimately an unexpected change in the direction of her life. She's now fully recovered and preparing medical school, God bless her. But Tram is joining us to share her story, and it is a story that people need to pay attention to, right? So take us back. First of all, good morning, Tram. Good to have you on.
Good morning.
And thank you for getting up early and doing the show with us here. Take us back to the day this happened. What happened? How quickly did that fun ride turn into a medical emergency for you?
Yeah, it was just like a sunny summer day. I was in North
Hmm.
Bergen and I was just using an electric scooter, like a personal one, just riding along the streets. And then I hit like a curb. I don't think I was going too fast. Maybe it was around like 15, 20 miles per hour. But I wasn't wearing a helmet. And then I just flew. The next thing I knew was I was flying, and then luckily, I landed on my like feet and hands and not my head. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. I used to live in North Bergen. I know that area well. I used to live on River Road with the beautiful views of Manhattan. And
Mhm.
it looks like a great place to take your scooter up and down. And wow, that could happen fast. So you were far from home. You're from California, and you learned your injury needed surgery. So what was going through your mind at that point?
Yeah, I was pretty scared. I was hoping I could do surgery in California just because my family is there. They could support me. Yeah, I didn't think it was anything big until the surgeon told me that, oh, you need surgery like tomorrow morning. And I was like, oh, okay. But they were very, very nice at Hackensack Meridian Health. So I just went ahead and did the surgery the next morning, and luckily everything was fine. But it was definitely a scary experience, just because I've never broken anything before and I was out of state.
Was that the hospital, just out of curiosity, the one that's right on River Road? There's the one on
Yeah,
River Road in North Bergen. Yeah.
yeah.
That used to be my hospital. I used to live literally 2 doors down from that hospital, so I've been there myself in an emergency. I know it well. It's a great place. What do you remember most about the care that you got and the relationship you developed with Dr. Kevin Chen and the team there? Oh, there it is, Palisades Medical Center. Yep, that's I know it well. So what was it like, and their team, Dr. Chen? How were they?
Everyone was very, very kind. Even like the X-ray techs made sure they went very slowly, and I could see that they were very genuine, trying to not make me feel pain when we were doing X-rays. So everyone was very, very kind, and especially Dr. Chen, just because he had really great bedside manner where he would like stoop down to my level, explain everything very well, and didn't like pressure me into doing surgery, but kind of explain the options just so that I know. What the outcome would be if I went to California or if I stayed. So I had a lot of confidence in him, and he was very reassuring.
So what was the surgery? Did they need to relieve pressure on the brain because of blood or anything like that? What happened, if you don't mind sharing?
Nothing with the brain. It was they just needed to do, I think it was an ankle surgery, an open reduction internal fixation. So they just put screws in there. Yeah.
Thankfully, very, very, very lucky. And now You're preparing to go to medical school yourself this fall. How does this experience as a patient influence your medical school?
Yes, I just started Monday, so this is going to be day 3. I need to run over there right now after, but I really appreciate all the care that I received and this experience. It really helped me kind of see from the patient side and how important connecting with your patients is. Sometimes physicians don't have enough time, but I want to provide enough time to be able to reassure them. So I think that this experience really, really helped. And if I didn't get into this accident, I don't think I'd be going to medical school. So it's a silver lining.
Wow. Well, I don't want to hold you up. My gosh, I didn't realize you started already. That's so exciting. We're so excited for you, Tram. Congratulations on being in medical school. I think this is going to make you the best darn doctor ever. Tram Huynh, and we just want you to stay healthy. And we're so excited for you. Come back through your trek in medical school. We want you to keep updated with us.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, coming back to Hackensack would probably be the dream. But yeah.
Right? All right, let's do it. We know people at Hackensack. We know people, so we'll pull strings. Good for you. All the best in medical school. Best of health. And thank you for sharing this important information about scooters, Tram. All the best to you.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
You bet. All right, bye-bye. That's so exciting. In medical school, just started. Good for Tram. It is now 28 minutes past the hour. When we come back, the job market remains challenging, especially for young professionals trying to build long-term careers and leadership opportunities. So we're going to talk about that when we come back. A very good morning, 31 minutes past the hour, Wednesday, July 29th, 2026. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato. We're live on the East Coast, and now our friends on LACA on the West Coast get to watch. And don't tell anyone, we have our beta channel in Florida on FLA.com too. Just another, 36 million people or so we had on. Welcome to Mornings with Ken Rosato, and it is good to have you. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the forecast near you.
Weather is brought to you by Viking Pest Control. Visit vikingpest.com.
Mike, the rain was unbelievable yesterday. And I was driving between North Jersey and Central Jersey, and there were periods where I just got behind a truck that was doing 10 miles an hour and just watched its flashers. And I had my flashers on. I held on for dear life. We were in the middle lane. And the idea there was just if he's going five, you go five and just stay behind him because he could see better and he has the vehicle cutting through the water. It
Mm,
was scary. And I know I
it
wasn't
was pretty
alone. There
rough.
were a lot of parts of Jersey like that. Or were there certain parts that were worse than others?
Yeah, especially northeastern sections of the state, Passaic County, Bergen County. There are still flood warnings, Ken, 12, 15 hours after the rain ended up in Bergen County along the Hackensack River, where that rain fell upwards of 4 inches yesterday. Look at all that rain now extending well up through the Hudson Valley. So just exited New Jersey minutes ago, but still portions of New England tapping into that heavy rain this morning. So the low pressure is still sitting on top of us. It's meandering to the north and east, and that's why it'll bring in another round of likely clouds, maybe a few sprinkles later today. Nothing of the heavy rain sort that we received yesterday, but even through the day tomorrow, still heavy on the clouds with a few passing showers, trying to wait for this high pressure to move on in, which will ultimately clear us out by Friday afternoon, delivering some dry weather. Saturday also likely some humidity with some passing showers and clouds. Not completely sunny, but also not all that wet, considering how wet it was yesterday. And stretching right down the East Coast, had many tornado warnings through across the Delaware yesterday and Pennsylvania as that system moved on through. Out to the West Coast, where it is much quieter this morning. Looking forward to a clear sky there, and that hot weather continues. This high pressure dome moves eastward very slowly, allowing for that heat to remain in portions of San Francisco, right down through San Diego and LA, even down toward Florida. You have some wet weather there as all of that wet weather continues with a little bit of flow off of the Gulf. So, throughout the next several days, looking at clear sky in the Southern California area, not even a marine layer in the morning as that high keeps all of that cloud cover well offshore. So looking great right through the upcoming weekend as we start off dry this morning and remain so into the upcoming weekend. Very pretty weather there. So as long as this heat persists across the Midwest and South, we are looking forward to more cloud cover and humidity here across the Northeast, Ken, as this system is slow to move. Not much movement even since yesterday.
And in terms of water levels and drought, is it too early to talk about that, or are they going to figure it out today?
No, it's never too early to talk about it. The report comes out tomorrow morning, shortly after 8 a.m. So we'll have that for you after 8 a.m. But I'm sure they will, because you look at the last week, it goes week by week and how
Mhm.
much rainfall fell over the last week. More than 6 to 7 inches of rainfall in many areas of New Jersey, because we've had a lot of water in the last week. So that's really going to help our water levels go higher.
I mean, the goal here is to get a little bit at a time, not all of it in a day,
Yeah,
obviously, but I mean, that's what hurricanes do, though. And not that this was a hurricane, but I'm saying, like, I know
right.
for Florida and the South and all, hurricanes
Hmm.
actually do restore water levels. And as much as it causes damage and death, and it could be horrible, from an ecological and environmental
Yeah.
perspective, hurricanes are kind of needed, aren't they, in many cases, because they
They are
bring
right. Well,
inches and
you look
inches of
at this
water.
is yeah, this is typically the hurricane season where the tropical storm, it would develop, it would weaken into a tropical storm by the time it reaches us, but it almost has that same shape, even though it's an upper level low, a
Hmm.
completely different structure, had a lot of the same characteristics in terms of rainfall that would promote flooding, just like yesterday, as a tropical system.
Never doubt Mother Nature. She's got it all figured out, right? She knows how it all works. All right, just don't waste water in the process. That's it. And tell the AI centers to figure it out. All right, Mike, thank you very much, sir. We always respect and appreciate everything you do. You are an amazing man. I know you were busy as heck yesterday. And not to mention helping raise with your beautiful wife two little ones under 17 months, and the dog, Rocco, who's the prince of the house, I know. All right, sir. We'll check back with you. Much appreciated. It's a busy, busy little day. Another one. 68 degrees right now, Trenton, 70 degrees, northern New Jersey, 67 Cape May, and off to Los Angeles. We have 69 degrees, Los Angeles, and we have 70 degrees now in San Diego. Terms of traffic, a lot of it going on. Let's go over to back to 80. We have a crash now. Actually, I'm sorry. Let's do 287. You're right, Pam. I apologize. Here's a car fire. This is a car fire on 287 kind of make it through the fog there. You see the flashing lights are in the middle of the screen. A car fire southbound 287 by exit 26, Mount Airy Road, Bernards Township. Right lane of 3 lanes closed. Again, you see the emergency vehicle there. They apparently got the fire extinguished, but they have everybody off to the right there, and that's going to be there for a little bit. Garden State Parkway, there's a crash to tell you about northbound, north of exit 132. Woodbridge Center Lane is blocked there. And then on the also on the Garden State, we have a crash southbound entrance ramp at 120 in Lawrence Harbor in Old Bridge. The entrance ramp is now blocked. Over to the Turnpike, we have a crash with property damage northbound by James Fenimore Cooper service area. That's in Mount Laurel. All lanes open. Vehicle on the right shoulder. Now on 80. This is 80. This was the lead story 10, 15 minutes ago. Now on 80, there's a crash west of exit 61, River Road, Elmwood Park, with the right lane of 4 lanes closed. Back to there we go. You kind of see little gathering of cars. It's not terrible right now. And then on the Turnpike Eastern Spur, we have a disabled bus, and that is northbound by interchange 15W 280 in Kearney. All lanes open. Bus is now on the right shoulder. Hudson River Crossings, the Lincoln Tunnel approach, 495, is really starting to build right now. You can see that approach of the 495 helix, and that's going to cost you 25 to 30 minutes into Manhattan. Over to the Holland Tunnel. This is a busy one. This is going to be closer to 45 minutes. You just have stopped traffic into the tube on Route 139 from the Turnpike to the tunnel itself. And then the GWB, this is a prince. This is only 15 minutes in. 8095 approach to the GWB upper and lower levels, starting to build, especially the lower level on the left there, but it is moving again. It's about 15 minutes upper. It's about 20 minutes on the lower level. To Los Angeles right now, a couple of things to tell you about. We have a report of a fire right now, East LA on the 105 by the 710. We have a traffic collision in Baldwin Park at Route 60 and Phillips Ranch Road, excuse me. And then we have a collision reported in Santa Fe Springs on the 605 at Peck Road. It is 7:39 Eastern, 4:39 West, and the job market remains challenging, especially for young professionals trying to build long-term careers and leadership opportunities. They come out of college, they have hundreds of thousands in debt, and then the jobs aren't necessarily right there waiting for them. Our next guest says mentorship, strategy, and understanding the realities of the workplace can make all the difference. Baron Witherspoon Sr. is the CEO and founder of the Black Exec LLC and the author of The Black Exec and the 7 Myths, a guide to helping aspiring Black professionals succeed in corporate America. Good morning. Welcome. Good to have you on, sir.
Good morning, Ken. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's great to have you on. And this is such an important time, kids. We just had a medical student just going back to school there a couple of minutes ago. So this is the time of year, and you have a lot of students. They work hard, they get into college, they get their financing, they're building up a lot of debt. And then when they come out, no matter who they are and where they are, when they come out, the jobs aren't necessarily waiting for them. So what inspired you to launch the Black Exec after you retired with a big career in Procter & Gamble yourself?
Well, my inspiration really was young people and their response to the book that I wrote. So
Mhm.
once I wrote the book, the response was so overwhelming by young people that it encouraged me to really open up a company to really go after trying to help assist young people find jobs and find their way in broader
Mhm.
sense in society.
And mentorship is really important. We'll talk about your book, 7 Myths, in a second here, but mentorship is really important, isn't it? Talk about the essential nature of mentorship and how just the connections and leading the way and people already having made the mistakes can really help you out.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I think I've had personal experience with that during my career, of course, as a mentee and as a mentor. But what
Mhm.
I think about mentorship, I'm thinking about transferring knowledge and transferring skills to people in a safe environment. The key to
Mhm.
mentorship is that the mentor is not in your chain of command. And so that allows that person to share very candid information with you in a timely way that can really help you during the course of your career. So I've been on both ends of that. And I think it's critically important now, and maybe now more than ever, given a few factors in terms of the way our young people are developing.
So your book centers on what you call the seven myths. We just touched on that briefly. What are those seven myths and why do they matter so much?
Well, the seven myths matter quite a bit. They begin with things like the myth of belonging. And belonging says that someone in the organization is asserting that you don't belong here. So that becomes the myth of belonging. And then they go on to other items like the myth of inferiority, the myth of awareness. And of course, in that situation, we're being told that you're doing okay, but people just aren't aware of your work. Um, and then there's also the myth of protection. Uh, and then the fifth myth is the myth of silence, and that's where people are saying that you are too loud. You're either you're too loud or you're not being heard. If you could just be heard more, then you might be more successful in the organization. All of these types of things are basically put forward as ways to limit your growth. They're actually not true. Our people are not really suffering from the myth of belonging because they actually do belong. The students that are coming out of the universities are prepared to go into the environments, but they're not
Hmm.
being necessarily given the credit for that by agents within the organization. So, what the book does is really expose these myths. And it then talks about how to prepare their mindset for the myths that they're going to encounter on the job. And that's where the book adds a lot of value to young people because we don't just tell them, hey, these myths exist, but we tell them how to see them and what to be doing about them. And so that's where we encourage them to shift their own mindset to be prepared to address the myths that are going to come at them. And it's proving to be very, very helpful information to young people as they enter complex work environments, and they're not sure what to expect when they get into these environments. The
Hmm.
book helps them to really see what's happening and address it with real tools and techniques.
So what's a website where they can get more information and buy the book? And again, the book is The Black Exec and the Seven Myths. Where can we get that book and where do we get more info?
They can get more information at our website, theblackexec.com. And that gives them plenty of information on not just the book, but everything that we're doing in the organization. They can buy the book in ways that they buy books. Amazon, for example, they can go on and order the book. And Ken, just in the last few weeks, we've actually come out with an audio version of the book. And
Great.
so, that helps a lot of people that are busy and on the move to be able
Yes.
to enjoy the book without actually having to stop what they're doing. So
Aaron, I never thought I would like audiobooks. I didn't mean to step on you, sir. I never thought I would like audiobooks. I have them on in the car all the time now. I love audiobooks. You're absolutely right. Here I am almost 60 years old. I finally discovered something new. They're fantastic. It's a great way. I've even gone back and gotten books I've read and listened on audiobooks. It's just a whole different experience. It's really great. So the book is called The Black Exec and the Seven Myths, a guide to helping aspiring Black professionals succeed in corporate America from a guy who did it right there, Barron
yes,
Witherspoon Sr. It's author, CEO, founder of the Black Exec LLC, man who had an experienced, wonderful career through Procter and Gamble. What a career to have with what a company. Unbelievable. Sir, please come back. We need your wisdom, especially today, and we appreciate you coming on this morning.
thank you. Thanks for having me. Love to come back.
Please do. Let's set that up. I'm inspired, and if I'm inspired, I'm sure younger people are super inspired by your experience and wisdom. Have a wonderful day, sir, and we appreciate your time.
All right. Thanks so much, Ken.
All right. You bet. Thank you. You got to listen to people like that. Somebody who has been a corporate executive, which is a very tough thing to navigate, who made his way at a time, and I'm sure it was more challenging than today, And he knows his stuff and how to navigate corporate life. That's an amazing man right there. Got to have him back. 45 minutes past the hour. Two recent stories have sparked debate over the growing influence of content creators, the future of retail, and whether businesses should embrace or limit the creator economy. Fashion expert Don Del Russo of LiveTheGlamour.com will join us. Can't wait. Coming back in 2. Very good morning. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato. 49 minutes past the hour. Straight to meteorologist Mike Favetta.
Weather is brought to you by Viking Pest Control. Visit vikingpest.com.
All right. Busy day yesterday. Busy day today. Mike?
Another round of clouds. Yeah, not as severe. With the storm threat shifting eastward, I don't think we'll have any of the big downpours that we endured yesterday with the lightning, the thunder, the flooding, the tornado risk, all of that moving east. Now we tap into some quieter weather as the weather out west is also nice and quiet. So with the futurecast showing another round of rain moving eastward through the plains, that takes over in the Midwest today and basically arrives by Saturday across the Northeast. So while we get one day of a break from all of the rainfall later on Friday, we actually have another round of humid conditions with the cloudy skies on Saturday into Sunday. I think Monday and Tuesday into Wednesday sees a nice break. We're back to sunny, dry weather, which will look great. And even the futurecast showing in the short term more of that cloud cover right throughout the day today into tomorrow as the system parks itself just off to the east and slowly meanders over the Atlantic over the coming days. Have to wait till the weekend to tap into some dry weather with some warmer weather on the way. Look at the first 2 weeks of August. Abnormally warm conditions moving eastward. So we're not done with summer just yet. We still have plenty of heat in the forecast and slightly wetter conditions across northern New Jersey. But the drought really impacted in a good way and helping to lower the drought threat thanks to all of the rainfall. But we'll have the more updated forecast tomorrow when the new drought information comes out after 8 a.m., Ken.
All right, sir. We'll be looking forward to that. Thank you very much, Mike. It is 71 degrees northern New Jersey, 68 degrees in Trenton, and two recent stories have sparked debate over the growing influence of content creators, the future of retail, and whether businesses should embrace or limit the creator economy. Joining us is fashion expert Don Del Russo of LiveTheGlamour.com. That's glamour with an O-U-R to break down what these headlines mean for brands, influencers, and consumers alike. Good morning, Don.
Good morning, Ken. Yeah, this is
So two,
this is
yeah, this is a big
a
deal, right? I'm sorry to step on you,
yeah,
but two recent stories have everybody talking about influencers in retail. What is at the center of this new debate?
yes. So in Nantucket, there is a Paige Lorenz. She's a big influencer, over 2 million followers across her platforms. She's been, considered. I would put her in the businesswoman category. I mean, she built a, a major business with merchandise that she has based around this Dairy Boy brand, and she's been out to Nantucket since she was a little girl. So this is not a place that she's new to. She didn't bring a store there out of nowhere. She's known the environment for a long time, and her grandparents, she would go visit her grandparents there. So it was a place that she wanted to open a store. She opened this Dairy Boy, the clothing store, there this summer, just recently, the past month. And it drew in, having 2 million followers, drew in a ton of influencers. They all have been coming from all over the country to visit the store, to shop. And as you know, Nantucket is very, very small, quiet, New England town, and it brought a ton of traffic. So there was another store, Four Winds Craft Guild. It's been there a long time, very traditional store, basket shop, and they put a sign up that said no influencers. A little kitschy, but also I believe they didn't really want influencers in their store, which I think there's, I'm kind of in the middle of the whole situation, because I can understand where both are coming from. And Paige has built this brand, and she knows the island. She's been there a long time. And then, this other Four Winds, they've had products, a store also for a long time, and they have a very traditional store. So putting this sign up drew a lot of controversy. And Paige came in and said, this is not really right. Why would you want to dissuade people from coming into town? And it's kind of been a bit of battle. And online, it created so much controversy, because you have the influencers who are saying, it's discrimination, which I think is going a little too far. And then you have this older brand that is saying, I personally think it was more like they don't want that type of traffic just coming through this small town. And me personally, I want to ask this question that I haven't really come up. Where is the etiquette? Where do we find the etiquette for what is right? Because yes, it's going to exist. There's influencers, this whole other world, but maybe there needs to be something created that says, like, your bright lights and your loud talking and your microphones in this place maybe isn't right. Maybe you should tone that down and create some type of balance.
Yeah, I think a lot of them, I don't mean to paint with a broad brush, but I've been around them. You've been around them. A lot of influencers just think that they are the star, and
Yeah.
everybody should be bowing and saying, "Oh, we're so fortunate to have you in our presence." No, you're a pain in the frickin' ass, and you're loud, and take your 2 million 6-year-olds who don't have $6 in their pocket, who are going to come here and just look and steal, and we don't need them, and go to hell. Okay, there, I've spoken. Am I a little too harsh? I know I'm exaggerating. I'm exaggerating. But that is, in many cases, that is the case. Just because they have 2 million followers doesn't mean each of those 2 million followers is worth $2 million a piece and ready to come and spend money.
Exactly. And she, Paige, I've been following her for a long time. I think it's incredible what she's created. And I do think she knows how to be in Nantucket. She grew up there. She knows what it is. And I think she represents it in a really positive way. But like you said, the influencers, the people, the content creators that she has may not understand that same way. They've never been there before. They may be coming from, a place that they've never seen small town shops like this and these owners. And rightfully so. I mean, I know that even going into restaurants, and when you see somebody with this bright light, you're trying to eat dinner and you see somebody with this bright, bold light sitting next to you trying to get the content of their food, you almost want to say, like, can you figure out a different way? Like, I also want to enjoy myself. And, I like I said, I'm in the middle. Like, I come from sort of somewhat both worlds. I've been around both of them, know a lot, but I think that etiquette and how you approach this really matters. And there has to be some type of standard.
Yeah, I listen. There's a food guy that I follow, and he was in Italy, and apparently he told the owners of the restaurant that he was going to be shooting some food. I didn't care. But little did he didn't mention he was going to set up lights. He was going to have multiple phones recording him, and he was trying to live stream. And it was in a quiet, intimate little, like a 20 table restaurant. And he was loud and laughing and take a look at this and blah, blah, blah. And you know what? Guess what? I'm 2 tables away and I'm spending $300 on a meal. I also want to talk with my wife, my girlfriend, my friend. But I don't want to hear your influencer nonsense. That's work. I'm here for pleasure. And it's annoying
Exactly.
and it's very
Yeah.
selfish. And I think this is what the environment for social media has created, a very self-absorbed, central, obnoxious kind of environment for these influencers. I mean, 10 years ago, we didn't know what an influencer was.
Right.
Today, they're here everywhere and they're a little obnoxious at times. Not generally, but at times, depending on the individual. Tell everybody the website once again for people to check you out.
Yes, livetheglamour.com. And these stories and many others are on there to check out. So come over and see it.
And I'm sorry we ran a little late because of all the flooding yesterday. We lost about 2 minutes of our interview today. You always
Oh,
have the
good.
best stuff prepared, so we appreciate you. Don Del Russo, livetheglamour.com. That's LIVETHEGLAMOUR.com. British spelling. We appreciate you always. We adore you. Don, have a great week.
Thanks, Ken. You too.
You bet. Thank you. All right. It is now 58 minutes past the hour. For those of you watching on LACA on the West Coast, stay tuned for local news. If you're watching on New Jersey, ONNJ, we'll be right back live with New Jersey news, opinion, weather, and traffic. Thanks for watching Mornings. Very good morning, 8:01, Wednesday, July 29th, 2026. Welcome to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato, taking calls at 888-658-0234. Sun and clouds today, highs low to mid-80s, much better than yesterday after maybe a little something could happen before 1 o'clock. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the full Garden State forecast.
Weather is brought to you by Viking Pest Control. Visit vikingpest.com.
So, Mike, there are parts of New Jersey that still have to watch out for flooding, right? Maybe a little passing spritz here and there, but for the most part, the big stuff that happened yesterday is not happening today, right? Oh, we're not hearing you, Mike. The Mike and his mic. Uh-oh. He says, hang on, he's going to switch. I'll talk for him. Well, you know what, Ken? You are the best anchor I've ever worked with in my entire career. Wow, Mike, that you don't have to say that. You're amazing. Yes, Ken, you know what? If I could be winning a pot of gold or sitting here talking to you, I would rather sit here and talk to you because you are that great. Oh, Mike, stop flattering me. You like how I put words in his mouth? Mike is fixing the mic, so we'll get this on. Here he
Is
is.
it sound better now?
Perfect.
All right, cool. I think the battery died. That's what happens. So much
I
weather
hate that.
yesterday, the battery couldn't even last through the overnight. So we'll work on it. I'm glad there was no hum in the background too, so it fixed itself. All right, great. So we'll start off this
And
morning.
nothing happened. I didn't put words in your mouth or anything while you were away. No, not a word.
Not,
Not
I
a
heard
word.
the whole thing. No, they're two separate systems, in and out. I heard the whole thing, Ken. The whole thing.
All right,
You just couldn't hear
I'll
me.
go away.
We start off this morning with a lovely amount of warm weather, but it's the humidity, the mugginess that remains very, very almost soupy outside with the dew points in the upper 60s. And when that dew point is close to the actual air temperature, you get a touch of fog. So there might even be some reduced visibility around with that cloud cover. So the last of the heavy rain exited moving eastward. That was last night. Now this morning, we start off with some low clouds, but I think we stay dry most of the day. Temperatures try to warm into the upper 70s and even some low 80s with breaks of sun throughout the afternoon. But any little break of sun could spark a quick afternoon storm, as is the case tomorrow. Typically with a northwesterly wind, we dry out. It takes some time to get that drier weather in here, so it's still uncomfortably humid, even going through Saturday, where the sunshine really returns. But the good news is the forecast rainfall totals, next to nothing. All of that wet weather and the heavy stuff has now shifted eastward. So into the next few days, a slightly drier trend with a few spritzes and sprinkles today. Temperatures managed to make it back into the 80s with dry weather, Ken, into Friday and Saturday. A nice looking weekend ahead. We'll see if it lasts right through the weekend coming up.
That is the key. We want our next few weekends to be good because summer just goes fast around these parts. Thank
Mm-hmm.
you, Mike.
Yep,
Appreciate it.
you bet.
4 minutes past, and in terms of temperatures, we have 74 degrees northern New Jersey, 69 in Trenton. A little disparity there, and I think it's because of wherever you have sun breaking out, right? So northern New Jersey, a little sun peeking through, and then Trenton itself might have a little more overcast. So that has a lot to do with the temperatures. In terms of traffic, a lot going on. Flooding on 208 southbound north of Morlot Avenue or Morlot. I don't know if it's pronounced in the French or not. That's in Fair Lawn. Right lane of 2 lanes closed. Outer Bridge Crossing has a crash now on the New Jersey side, Perth Amboy, with the right lane blocked. And, Outer Bridge is not the biggest bridge. It's only, 2 lanes in each direction. So you get 1 lane blocked. That's a mess during morning drive. We have a disabled now, Garden State Parkway southbound exiting 116 by the PNC Arts Center in Homedale. The right lane is blocked there. 287, there's a vehicle fire. We saw it earlier. I think they got that fire out, but there were still emergency vehicles there. Southbound side of exit 26, Mount Airy Road in Bernards Township, 1 right lane closed. Garden State, another issue here, crash southbound by the entrance ramp at 120, Lawrence Harbor and Old Bridge Township. Entrance ramp is now blocked. New Jersey Turnpike crash with property damage, and that is by James Fenimore Cooper service area, Mount Laurel, all lanes open, vehicle on the right shoulder. And on the eastern spur of the turnpike, we have a disabled bus. This is northbound by interchange 15W I-280 in Kearney. All lanes open, buses on the right shoulder. Hudson River crossings, Lincoln and Holland right now, both on the heavy side. We check out Lincoln. Look at that. That's about 30 minutes, 30 to 35 actually, as you make your way to the Helix. Over to the Holland Tunnel, it's actually worse. It's going to be about 45 minutes in. This is Route 139 from the Turnpike to the Tube. You can see on the right side of the screen where it says SE, those lanes. That is what's going into the Tube. And then where it says call Ken, the call word there, that's another lane. So the extreme left, extreme right go into the Tubes, and they're stopped. And then the GWB upper and lower levels, 80-95 approach, definitely your best bet, although it's now starting to get a little heavy. They heard us before. This is the 1.5 mile point to Manhattan. So you could see it's moving there. It's not built up beyond that. We had one shot this morning where it started to build at that point. That's the 30-minute point. You can see it's moving now. We're told it's only 20 minutes in. 6 minutes after 8 o'clock, and New Jersey will not. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm sorry. Let's first talk about the storms yesterday. Yesterday, we had tens of thousands of customers without electricity, people who thought they were seeing tornadic activity. That's still got to be investigated. And we had heavy storms throughout New Jersey. Take a look at some of the video we had of New Jersey. Do we have that video here? No, we don't. I'm throwing the wrong thing at you, Pam, but nonetheless important to show. And this was, thank you, Pam's right on it. This is what people saw throughout New Jersey, looking over to New York from New Jersey, wild weather causing a lot of heavy rain, inches, actually 3 to 5 inches in some spots up and down the state. Just an absolute mess. As Mike talked about, the northeastern part of the state had a lot of flooding. Much of the state, no one escaped the weather. And then as you made your way into New York City, lower Hudson Valley and Long Island, they then got a lot of it too. So just beware that you could still see some flooding in sections of New Jersey, although the worst of it is over. Tomorrow, Mike will give us the update from the National Weather Service on in terms of our drought and our water levels. Hopefully this got us up to normal, but we shall see. Tomorrow we will know. New Jersey will not cooperate with a federal demand for data on the 6,600 non-citizens, illegal aliens, aka, accidentally added to the state's voter rolls in 2023 and 2024. Now, let's just clarify something. The governor's office says this was due to a computer glitch in the program, but the company that programmed this now says, bullshit. Bullshit. There's no glitch. There's no problem. It's how you program it, what you put in. And according to the computer programmers, you folks in New Jersey, you had the opportunity to make it clear that if you are a non-citizen, you can't vote. And the New Jersey libs said, put that in there. Necessary people will just know. Really? So this wasn't a computer glitch or a computer error. This was the Democrat Party specifically, intentionally setting that. This is going to be investigated, people. This will be investigated. But of course, in a state run by Democrats top to bottom, it's going to be a very slow investigation. It's going to take the federal government to come in and look at this. And this was what appears to be quite intentional. This does not smell good for the Democrat Party at all. This looks very dirty. This goes back to the Murphy administration. I know right now, Governor Cheryl's going to say, I had nothing to do with it. I wasn't the governor. Who was the governor then? No, but it was the same party, the mono party, the Democrat Party that has run things for decades now in New Jersey. You run everything. You got the Assembly, the Senate, the governorship, lieutenant governorship, state Supreme Court, the top 15 largest cities run by Democrat mayors. You have the 9 of the 12 Congress seats are Democrat, both U.S. Senate seats. On and on and on it goes. You guys run every freaking thing in the state. And now we know why you have been so happy about making this a sanctuary state. And the reason is it brings in people, whether they are legal or not, into the major urban centers in New Jersey, which keeps your congressional representation. Otherwise, we will lose because our population was decreasing before illegal migrants. So we would lose 1 to 2 million people, which would make us lose maybe 2 Congress seats to a southern state. And that's why you're so happy that we're a sanctuary state and we have 1 to 2 million illegals in the state of New Jersey. It's for that reason. And then if you could add a cherry on the sundae and they accidentally do some voting because they accidentally got registered to vote and they'll just accidentally vote for the Democrats who happen to be the people who opened the floodgates for them. All right, so be it. Let me say something. I've said it a million times before. I'll say it again. If we knew for a fact that the folks coming in illegally to this country were hardcore conservatives, the Democrats in this country would have a 10,000-foot high wall built. The southern border, the northern border, and along both coasts. And you couldn't get in with bombs if you wanted to. That's what would happen. But nope, because they tend to vote Democrat, we are going to open up the doors. We're going to put out the welcome mat and we're going to welcome them in and give them everything they want. Listen, America was built on immigrants. Yes, that's it. Hey, the founding fathers were immigrants. Okay, that's a good thing. We want immigrants. We want them to come legally. We don't want the first act that they do as an American to break the law against other Americans. That's not the way to do it. And when a party steps in and does that intentionally in order to gain votes and stay in power, at the sacrifice of the rest of society, that is a very bad and very unhealthy thing. And that's what it appears now more and more that the Democrats did over a period of 4 years. And if it is seditious, it is treasonous, and it's got to be dealt with. Unfortunately, the Republicans are feckless and weak, and not the party to take care of the problem. So that's an issue. And I'm not saying anybody else is ready for it yet. I'm waiting for somebody to rise to the occasion. Anyway, we are going to be back in just a couple of minutes. When we come back, July is Fibroid Awareness Month, bringing attention to a condition that affects millions of women. It can be very painful, and it often goes undiagnosed or untreated for years. Gonna have a mix of sun and clouds today, highs in the low to mid 80s. Mike will be back with the full Garden State forecast in 2 minutes. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato at 8:15. We'll take your calls at 888-658-0234. Mix of sun and clouds today, highs low to mid 80s. But we still want to watch out for flooding in parts of the state. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the full Garden State forecast.
Weather is brought to you by Viking Pest Control. Visit vikingpest.com.
Well, we still have over 4,000 customers throughout the state of New Jersey, Mike, that are without power. That's significantly better than yesterday and last night. Last night, there were a lot of folks hit by the high winds and the flooding rains, and that impacted folks all up and down the state. But there's still a chance, right? Aren't certain areas near rivers and streams is still worried about flooding for the next few hours?
Yeah, because now all of that water draining down into the valleys, and it takes about a day or two for the worst of the flooding along those rivers and streams, like you had mentioned, to see the worst of the flooding. So we'll probably see some of those flood warnings appear on the map later on today, even into tomorrow, as it takes a day or two. The visibility improving after yesterday's very cloudy, very gray sky. We had, of course, the heavy rains, which made it nearly impossible to see more than a few car lights in front of you while driving. Ken recounting the stories yesterday of how it was hard to drive around even in the middle lane. Well, today, a bit of an improvement with some breaks of sun, temperatures warming into the low 80s, but still rather humid. Have to wait till tonight to begin to see at least the humidity drop and feel it to return to a little bit of a more comfortable feeling. Friday even has some drier weather moving in thanks to that northwesterly wind out of the north and west before a little bit of humidity creeps back in into Saturday. So here's the progression. We still had rain falling through midnight last night. Now all of that wet weather has moved on to the east, and we'll look forward to a little bit of sunshine today, getting up to a 7 on the scale, which is high for UV, bringing back some more clear sky as the day goes on. So with the worst of the weather over, all of that heavy rain now across New England, we look forward to some breaks in the clear sky today, maybe a quick passing sprinkle, but nothing like the heavy rain that was widespread that we saw yesterday, and more clear sky day by day going through gradually into the day Friday and Saturday with temperatures closer to average. So that'll be the case this weekend too. Highs in the low 80s and more sunshine as the weekend goes on, Ken.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Much appreciated. We have a temp of 73 degrees right now, northern New Jersey, 69 in Trenton. It's 68 degrees in Cape May and 69 degrees in Vineland. A lot of traffic going on right now. Let's take a look at the Garden State Parkway. Now, this had a lot of flooding up and down, this as it usually does yesterday and last night. Now, not so much, but you can see damp roadways, and this is just really volume. This is in the neighborhood of the 140s. This is about 148, making your way southbound. You could see based on where the shadow is on the left side of the cars there. But just give yourselves extra travel time because, as Mike had pointed out, you're going to have debris sometimes in the roadways and some area patches of flooding, maybe some ponding and pooling of water on the extreme sides of the highways. So just be aware of that. Give yourselves extra travel time. We have a crash down the Outer Bridge crossing eastbound New Jersey side in Perth Amboy with the right lane blocked, and your Hudson River crossings. The Lincoln Tunnel approach right now to 495 in Manhattan is going to cost you 40 to 45 minutes solid. Look at the approach right now to this is just past Route 3 at 495, and that is really backing up. Over to the Holland Tunnel is really not much better at all. It's actually a solid 45 to 50, making your way on Route 139 from the Turnpike into the tubes. You could look at the lanes on the right. They don't look like lanes. They look like a parking lot, but that's actually lanes. See the white thing there? That's a truck where it says SE, or a bus rather, where it says SE. Those are 3 lanes dead stopped, and on to the left where it says call Ken, that's another lane. Those go into the tubes. That middle lane, those middle lanes, I should say, of flowing traffic go to the local streets in Jersey City. That's why they were moving. So you got to give yourselves lots of time. We go over to the GWB approach. Much, much better than any place else getting into Manhattan today. GWB is only going to cost you about 15 minutes in. Upper level is on the right, lower is on the left. 8:19 is our time. July is Fibroid Awareness Month, bringing attention to a condition that affects millions of women, but usually goes unnoticed, undiagnosed, not unnoticed, but untreated and undiagnosed for years. And joining us, Dr. Eric Lieberman, Director of Minimally Invasive Gynecologic Surgery at Holy Name, and his patient, Binny, who is sharing her personal journey to encourage other women to seek answers and advocate for their health. Good morning, both of you. Good to have you on.
Good morning. Happy Fibroid Awareness Month.
It's good that they're bringing awareness, because I'm sure it could be terrifying for women to all of a sudden get pain. Well, I'll let you talk about the symptoms. There's pain, bleeding, etc. And they're what? Benign tumors? Is that what fibroids are, Doc?
Yeah, so let's start with what fibroids are. So they are non-cancerous tumors that grow in the uterus. They affect about 70 to 80% of women by the age of 50. And of those, about 25% have symptoms severe enough that they require some sort of intervention or treatment.
And what are the symptoms that women need to be paying attention to? And when are they serious enough that they need medical help?
So the symptoms that women should really be paying attention to, if they're having heavy menstrual bleeding, so that means passing clots, if your periods are lasting more than 7 days, if you're soaking through clothes, that's not normal. Also, women can experience bloating, pelvic pressure, increased urinary frequency, and constipation. Those are all symptoms of fibroids. And you shouldn't wait.
Right. I was going to say women, and I only know from my female friends, obviously, but women know their patterns and what happens. And when this must happen, or when this happens, this must be very unnerving. Binny, when did you first realize something was not right with your health?
Yeah, thank you, Ken. Actually, last year when I was having my periods, after the cycle was done, I was still spotting. I was having a lot of bloating. The symptoms were just very extreme. So that is the time that I realized that something was very off.
And what does that do to your quality of life?
Oh, it just, it really took a big hit on the quality of my life. I am a very active, I'm a very social, outdoorsy kind of individual. I play a lot of sports. I like to explore. So having this kind of an issue where things are very unpredictable and, I have to always be on caution about, the symptoms just pursuing and the bleeding not stopping. I have to always plan everything, and that kind of gets in the way of your life when you tend to be that active.
And not to
What?
interrupt, but
Yes, go
Ken,
ahead,
real
Doc.
quick, Benny said something very important there. She said it was affecting the quality of her life. So if these symptoms are affecting the quality of your life, don't deal with it. An
Mhm.
average women wait about an average of 3.5 years from the onset of symptoms before seeking any treatment. So if it's
Wow.
affecting the quality of your life, don't be a prisoner of your symptoms. It's important to seek care. Don't wait, basically.
Yeah, you've had, I mean, the women I know, they always take care of the men in their lives and neglect their own health because they're so busy caring for everybody else that they say, I'll get to it when I get to it. That's, I mean, not that that's always the case here, but it's a women take care of yourself and just tell the rest of the people that they got to step it up a little bit more because women need to have their health obviously cared for. What is the biggest misconception that you hear from patients about fibroids, Dr. Lieberman?
So the biggest misconception that I hear from patients is that hysterectomy is the only option, and
Uh,
that's not true. About 60% of women that do have a hysterectomy for fibroids are never offered an alternative, which is unfortunate. And there's a big change over the past several years because we've come up with so many different options to be able to treat and manage fibroids. And here at Holy Name at the Fibroid Center, our treatment is really personalized and individualized to what the patient's goals are for their future life and future fertility options. Treatment options, range anywhere from surveillance or keeping an eye on the fibroids to medications to minimally invasive options ranging anywhere from robotic surgery to remove the fibroids or hysteroscopic procedures, uterine fibroid embolization. So basically, there's a lot of options available today that weren't available, several years ago that allow women to get back to their daily lives relatively quickly.
And I'm sure it must be so unnerving. A woman who, especially somebody young like Binny, you don't want to think about hysterectomy. You want to think about having a family and living a life, and that's got to be an awful thing weighing in the back of your head, and which is probably why a lot of women, I'm guessing, why a lot of women don't rush to the doctor right away to take care of this.
Yeah, absolutely. About 50, there was a survey that was done on about 1,000 women, and about over 50% wanted an option that preserved their uterus. So again, the big misconception is that a hysterectomy is the only option. That's completely false. There's many different options
Wow.
that we have available today for women.
Thank God. And Binny, so talk about your experience and how different it was with Dr. Lieberman and the team at Holy Name.
Yeah, absolutely. My experience with Dr. Lieberman has been extremely wonderful. He is a very compassionate, kind, understanding professional. Basically, he filled me in on everything that I needed to know. It was the first time that I barely had any questions for him. He's extremely detailed. He listens. He takes the time, and that's something that is very important as a woman who is, going through such a massive um, health issue. So he made me feel very comfortable, and that was very important to me. And I was very happy with that, and moving forward with the surgery with him.
And so now that you've had the procedure, what are you able to do that you couldn't do before the treatment?
What am I not able to do? I am able to live my life. I'm able to, I don't have to live in this state of anxiety. I can go out with my family, my friends. I can enjoy being active. I don't have to plan my life around this fibroid that was, basically destroying my life for years, mind you. So it's all under control. I am healthy and I'm happy and I'm enjoying life.
Well, you're a wonderful person, and I'm so glad to hear. And what advice do you have for other women who may be silently living with the same symptoms that you would experience? What would you tell them right now?
Oh my goodness. I would tell them that first of all, to really openly speak to their doctors. And if, they're going to doctors, the solutions are still not coming about, I would get a second opinions. I would ask for testings. I would, really get to the heart of the solution because it's not acceptable. It is, you shouldn't have to live with it. And that's something that as women, we tend to do, right? We just kind of deal with it. We live with it. And you don't have to do that. You can live a life that is fulfilling, and periods don't have to be heavy. They don't have to be painful. And that's not normal. That's not natural. So please do talk to your doctor openly and question them, challenge them, because it is your health and it is your life.
Amen to that. Dr. Lieberman, what's a website for people to get more information about this?
They can go to fibroid.holyname.com.
Okay, and I'm sure if they Google Holy Name and fibroid,
Yeah, Holy Name, and they
it'll
can go to
pop up.
ACOG, and there's lots of different sites out there that they can go to get information on fibroids and treatment options.
Well, thank goodness for you and doctors like you and Holy Name for coming up with these treatments and giving women their lives back, because I can only imagine how horrible it is to have to live with fibroids and all the symptoms. And thankfully, we got this wonderful person here, Benny, who has a life again. And that's a wonderful thing. Dr.
Ken,
Eric Lieberman, director. Yes, sir.
I was going to say, Ken, thank you for taking the time to bring this to people's attention and have a segment on this, because raising awareness for patients out there is what's most important. That's where it all starts. So it's important.
Well,
takeaway message is if women are, a prisoner of their symptoms and a prisoner of their cycles, you don't have to seek treatment. There's many different alternatives out there other than a hysterectomy.
50.5% of our population is female, and we know a large percentage deals with this. But because, we won't get into the politics with guys running TV stations, why a lot of this doesn't get covered more. But thankfully for you folks, taking the bull by the horn, so to say, and having these treatments, hopefully this will be something that all women know about and can deal with. Dr. Eric Lieberman, Director of Minimally Invasive Gynecologic Surgery at Holy Name, and Binny sharing her personal journey. We appreciate you sharing that too, to encourage other women to seek answers and advocate for their health. Thank you both for coming on this morning, and good health to both of you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
You bet. Okay. 29 minutes past the hour. When we come back, what started as a dream inspired by family memories has grown into a beloved local business on wheels. We're going to have a coffee story you will want to hear as I take another sip myself. We're coming back in 2 minutes. Very good morning. It is 72 degrees right now, Wednesday, July 29th, 2026. I'm Ken Rosato at 8:32. Welcome back to On New Jersey Morning. Sun and clouds today, highs low to mid 80s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the full Garden State forecast.
Weather is brought to you by Viking Pest Control. Visit vikingpest.com.
All right, Mike. So you're on, sir. I know the weather computer is saying, leave me alone. I was busy yesterday.
It was a really, really busy afternoon, but today a much quieter day, even starting off with some clouds around New Jersey. This is the visible satellites. You can start to see where the clouds are highlighted as the sun rises, even down the shore, some clear skies. So a brighter start to the day, but a lot less activity going throughout the afternoon. Temperatures, thanks to the sun down the shore, warming into the upper 80s. That's the place to be. It'll look great much throughout the afternoon with a lovely warm breeze. A little bit of a west wind though, so bugs on the higher side, especially those biting flies down the shore as those breezes blow from the west today. Those northwest winds keep the bug activity at moderate thanks to all of the humidity we had yesterday, and of course the pollen levels a little bit lower thanks to the rainfall yesterday. So good news for allergy sufferers into this afternoon. Highs getting up to the low 80s, which is slightly below average, but still, after the above average amount of rainfall yesterday, we likely will see another round of clear sky today, and water temperatures warming into the mid 70s. So great weather to be out on the water even today with the rip current risk low, thanks to that breeze and wind direction. If you plan to or know anybody out on the island, thanks to the southerly wind direction, rip current risk there is high. So no severe weather today, thankfully. We take a break from all of that action and look forward to the dry start to the weekend. By Sunday and Monday, though, rain chances could be a little bit higher heading into next week. And that's due to our next weather system, which comes in from the west, delivering yet again more rain. But that holds off until later on in the weekend into next week. So we wrap up this week with the rest of these clouds that will bring in a little bit of cloud cover throughout Friday, maybe some clearing by Saturday, and then another round of wet weather comes in for Sunday that could give us some rainfall going into Monday. But again, there's times of clear sky, so it's not all rain all the time. It'll look a little bit brighter even as we head into next week. Friday and Saturday looking great. Sunday into Monday could have some wet weather, but down the shore, very pleasant as we start off the rest of this week with clear sky and keep it dry throughout most of the weekend. Monday to Tuesday could have our next round of rain, Ken.
All right. Thank you very much, Mike. Much appreciated, sir. 8:35 right now. Temp is 73 degrees northern New Jersey, 69 in Trenton at 69 also in Vineland. And in terms of traffic, a lot of things happening right now. It's more slowdowns than anything else. We'll just mention this first, a crash on the Outer Bridge crossing. Eastbound New Jersey side in Perth Amboy, right lane is blocked. So making your way to Staten Island from New Jersey, you will have one lane block. That's going to take you a while. I was just on the Outer Bridge the other day. Very tiny roadway. It's only 2 lanes in each direction. So that's got to be causing an absolute mess today. We look at congestion on some area roadways. Garden State Parkway, just a little slow right now, southbound by between exits 149 and 147. 208, we have delays southbound north of Goffle Road in Hawthorne to Maple Avenue, Fairlawn. And then over on 206, delays southbound north of Pottersville Road in Chester. All lanes are open. You can see the slowdown there. It looks like they're doing a little construction. They take it down to one lane. That's just causing a bit of a slowdown. Over to the Hudson River crossings, the Lincoln Tunnel is a solid 40 minutes in. You can see just volume at this point, making your way in on the 495 to the Helix. There it is, and you can see the slowdowns there. Over to the Holland Tunnel. That's very heavy right now. Route 139 from the Turnpike into the tubes. You can see in the middle and on the left side by where it says call Ken. You see that lane? That is a lane going into a tube. That's stopped. And then under the, or above the phone number, I should say, you can see those lanes are also stopped. And then your GWB approach, that's your best bet, actually. It's flowing beautifully, only about 10 minutes into Manhattan right now. Upper level is going to be on the right, lower on the left. It is moving slowly, but moving, like I said, 10 to 15 minutes, you'll be in Manhattan. 36. What started as a dream inspired by family memories has grown into a beloved local business on wheels. Hudson Willow is more than just a coffee shop on wheels. It is a tribute to home, family, and the values that shaped its owner. Joining us now is Kristen Cheatham, owner of Hudson Willow, to share how she turned a longtime dream into reality. Kristen, good morning.
Good morning, Ken. How are you?
I'm great, thank you, because I have my cup of coffee next to me, although I'm sure it's not as good as the coffee that you guys serve. Where did the idea for a coffee and food truck first come from?
Geez, I've always wanted to own a coffee shop. And hopefully I will in the future. But right now we thought the mobile was a pretty cool way to get started. So that's what we did. We had it built in Nashville, Tennessee. And yeah, so we're having fun. I'm having a really good time.
I know 10 different brick and mortars in northern New Jersey who all decided to get in on it with a mobile situation. Because look, bottom line is you can you go into a brick and mortar and you haven't done the right research, you will have no business. You'll go out of business in months. You know that, right?
Correct.
You get a truck, you could go from place to place, time to time. Now, it's a pain in the neck to break it all down and set it all up. But you know that on Tuesdays, there's going to be a fair at this place. And on Thursdays, the kids all come out at that place. And I'm sure you're learning day by day and month by month, you know where all the action is at various times and various days, don't you?
That is correct. And it is a lot of work. It definitely is. But also, you get to meet a lot of other people and so much more of the communities, which is so fun. And we're having such a great time again with it. I love that we can pop up everywhere. Again, you have to be careful. You always have to get your permits and health inspections and things like that. That is very, very important. But other than that, we really are having a good time. And I love popping up. I have a lot of requests. We're about a year so in. So yeah, I can't wait, to see where this is going.
And have you had the success that you thought at this point, or do you think that it's just a lot of work to get to that point?
It's a lot of work. It definitely is a lot of work. I do everything myself as far as marketing. So I don't have anyone that I'm working with. So that's where you get a lot of business from is, social media and just getting your name out. But I'm happy with the progress so far. I would love to, of course, be able to get a permanent spot. Hopefully that'll happen one day. But until now, until then, I'm just having a great time. Farmers markets are always fun. We are down at the Fairhaven Farmers Markets, second Saturday of every month. So that's a really good time. And I love I did a wedding, which was really fun last year. I have done birthday parties. So yeah, it's a great time.
So tell us like the different types of coffees and food that you serve on and by the way, the camper there is just absolutely adorable. It looks so
Thank
cute
you.
and very inviting just unto itself. Like I would gravitate toward that just to check it out, just because of the way it looks. So that says a lot. But tell us some of the coffees and specialty drinks and foods that you guys have.
So right now we still have our summer menu. So banana latte is by far the number one. It's made with fresh bananas. I make it fresh every morning. And then followed up, I have to say, with the salted honey latte. We have a lavender latte,
Mm.
peanut butter latte. Yeah, but you don't have to get a latte. You can just, get cappuccino. You can get a regular drip coffee. We have a drip coffee, decaf drip. Yeah, and I'm excited. Fall is my favorite time of year. So we'll be planning that menu very shortly.
Excellent. That's exciting. And do you do like social media blasts when you're going to be in certain communities? You just let everyone know, hey, we're here.
I do. I do. And that's right now how people know where I am. I always say, please follow along on Instagram. I'm getting a little better on TikTok, not really. But yeah,
I'm streaming on TikTok right now over here to my right, and TikTok's a tough animal to learn. It's a whole
it,
different algorithm.
It definitely is. It definitely is. So I would say Instagram, if you can follow along. I do try to keep up with that and post all the time of where I'm going to be.
Yeah. And we love the name Hudson Willow. It's such a cute, meaningful name. Share the story behind it.
Sure. So I really take pride in what it looks like. I love that it's just simple. I had a lot of feedback. Oh, you should do this, you should do that. But I do like to keep it very simple. And where Hudson Willow came from was for many years, I prayed on the name. What could I name it? And Hudson was the street I grew up on. It was actually, the story is on my Instagram page, but it was my mother's parents' home. It was a little bungalow built in 1900. And then my parents, when they got married, they purchased it from my grandparents. And so that's where Hudson came from. We grew up on Hudson Avenue. And then Willow, we had a willow tree outside our kitchen window, and it was my favorite tree. And so that's where the name
Wow,
Hudson
willows
Willow.
are pretty. Willows look so just inviting and relaxing. It's like you want to sit under a willow tree. It's just such a
Yeah.
pretty, pretty tree. Well, I love this. Tell everybody your website or social media sites.
So very simple, a Hudson Willow Coffee. And you can find me there and you'll see the trailer with me sitting in front of it. And or you can also email me. It's hudsonwillowcoffee@gmail.com.
Super. All right. Kristen Cheatham, owner of Hudson Willow. Thank you for coming on. All the best to you. May you get that brick and mortar someday. But you know what? There's something special about being on wheels, too. There's something very free about it. So all the best either way to you.
Thank you so much, Ken. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Likewise. Thank you for coming on. All right. 843 rather. We have a temperature 74 degrees. When we come back, Michael, give us the updated forecast. Don't go away. And a very good morning. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato. It's 8:46 right now. Temp of pardon me, 74 degrees. Let me just cough. Hit the cough button. Pardon me. Temp of 74 degrees right now. Northern New Jersey, 69 in Trenton. Of course, my voice will last right up till the last few minutes of the show, and then we have this happening. In terms of the forecast, meteorologist Mike Favetta has a little bit better weather than yesterday. In just a moment here.
Weather is brought to you by Viking Pest Control. Visit vikingpest.com.
Well, let me tell you, Mike, all the pests hid underground with all the storm water and whatnot yesterday. Maybe they'll
Hmm.
resurface today, and then we can get our good friends from Viking Pest Control to go say, "Oh, really? Bye bye."
Yeah, that's right. I think so, especially with that severe flooding risk shifting eastward. So yesterday, that red bullseye was centered over northern New Jersey, and that's where it got hit the hardest. Today, it's more in the green area. That's level 1 of 4 on the flash flooding risk. So not anticipating much more than maybe a tenth to a half inch of rain at worst. Again, most of that wet weather staying well off to the east. So looking at the bug calendar, now that we're wrapping up the month of July, we're really starting to enter spotted lanternfly season. Saw a few myself over the weekend. So yeah, that is the next round as we head into the beginning of August. And with the water levels so high, thanks to all of that rainfall, little to none of a rainfall deficit, even the drought. Look at that, just that last little bit of red showing extreme drought across southern New Jersey. But when this map updates tomorrow, I think we will see a vast improvement to the drought situation, as there's still another shower threat today across northern New Jersey, but nothing like we saw yesterday. So the next 2 weeks offering a little bit more in the way of rainfall for the northern half of the state, but big heat returning for the first week of August. Likely see above average temperatures taking us into the first few days of August, and you can already see it here. By Wednesday, we're back in the 90s, but it'll be a little bit of a slow climb through the 70s and the 80s. We get some decently dry weather in here to kick off the weekend, with Saturday and Sunday looking dry. I think Monday could have our next chance for some rain, Ken.
All right, Mike. Thank you very much, sir. Oh, go get some rest today after yesterday and this morning. It's
Yeah.
going to be a busy little, or it was a busy little time. You deserve a massage. Tell the missus, honey, I know you're dealing with two little ones here, but I need a massage. So, all right, Mike, we'll catch you tomorrow, sir. See ya.
Thanks.
It
Yeah.
is, you know what Steph is going to say? She's going to say, yeah, massage this right there. That's it, Rosato. Shut up. 73 degrees right now in northern New Jersey, 69 degrees in Trenton, and at 8:49, that's our time. In terms of traffic, just a couple of things to tell you about it. Disabled bus now on 17 southbound north of Franklin Ave and Hasbrook Heights. Two right lanes are closed there. Hudson River crossings, the Lincoln is still going to cost you 35 minutes. In Holland Tunnel is about 40 to 45. GWB upper and lower levels, your best bet, only about 15 minutes into Manhattan. You could see, even though it's a little heavy, it is moving. 849 in New Jersey will not cooperate with a federal demand for data on the 6,600 illegal aliens accidentally added to the state's voter rolls in 2023 and 2024, citing privacy laws. Now, Governor Cheryl's campaign, not a campaign, but her administration, rather, excuse me, has said that it was a glitch, computer glitch. The computer company says, ain't no glitch. Everything was right. It's what you program the computer to do. And apparently they did not do anything, according to the computer company, to prevent people who were, there was nothing that specified whether you had to be a citizen or not. So it wasn't a glitch. Don't blame the computer. It's what you people wanted as Democrats. It's oopsie doopsie. If somebody happens to be illegal and they happen to register, well, I guess it'll just happen. That's what happened. It's as simple as that. And that is treasonous and criminal. Somebody from the federal level needs to investigate that. She also highlighted, and by the way, the people responsible are not Governor Sherrill, but Governor Murphy and his people. Governor Murphy. Well, Governor Sherrill highlighted New Jersey's new John R. Lewis Voter Empowerment Act, calling it a landmark expansion of state voter protections. Sherrill referred to the 6,600 as New Jerseyans and citizens. The problem is they are not. By her own admission, they are not New Jerseyans or citizens. They're illegal aliens. They're not here legally. Her decision not to cooperate with the feds escalates what has become a nationally watched dispute between Sherrill and the Trump administration over voter fraud and election integrity. The DOJ did not immediately comment, but methinks they're going to be knocking on Sherrill's door. Sherrill announced last week that between 2023 and 2024, a software error at the MVC, something again the software company says is not an error, allowed at least 6,600 illegal aliens to register to vote, with 400 actually casting ballots. And the Republicans say it was a lot higher than that. Sherrill also said yesterday her administration has begun the process of removing about 4,500 non-citizens, aka illegal aliens, from the state's voter rolls. The remaining 2,100 will be referred to county election officials. The Trump administration alleges that the true number of illegals on the state's voter roll is higher than 35,000. And again, New Jersey state Republicans say the number is way higher. They say it could be 80,000 based on individuals who, get this, individuals who responded to jury duty requests saying we can't because we are illegal. But yet to be on the jury duty list, they have to be registered to vote. So think about this. According to the Republicans, 80,000 people, they responded that they can't be on jury duty because they're not citizens. Yet they were discovered and asked to be on jury duty because they have driver's licenses and they are registered to vote. So the idea that it's only 6,600, the reason why Mikey Sherrill does not want to release the information is because it will then lead the feds to this. That's what the Republicans are saying. Very, very interesting. We'll see what happens. But it's the tip of the iceberg. We have 900,000 illegals in the state of New Jersey that they're admitting to. Realistically, it's probably more like 2 to 3 million in a state that is the most densely populated in the country. And you really can't hold a capacity of 3 million extra people. That's why we have housing issues. That's why we have traffic issues. That's why our schools are overcrowded. That's why grocery stores prices are high. There is a consequence to letting 1, 2, 3 million extra people slip in and just be part of society. There is a consequence, and this is it. And crime is up. You can say, oh, but Ken, illegal aliens cause fewer crimes than bullcrap. All these statistics that we have on whether illegals commit crimes are based on cities, big blue liberal cities, that refuse to prosecute a number of crimes and refuse to ask people their immigration and citizenship status when they arrest them. So how do you know, Newark and Jersey City and Manhattan? How do you know whether illegals commit more crimes or less if you are not allowed to even ask people if they are here illegally or not? It is against the law for the police to ask the question when they arrest them. So as far as we're concerned, hey, everybody getting arrested might be illegal, but we'll never know because liberals who run the states and cities refuse to allow the police to ask a simple question. What is your citizenship status? That's the game they play. New Jersey's rollout of 5 new mental health crisis centers has stalled because the state lacks the estimated $29 million needed to complete its 988, I should say, not 900, 988 crisis response system. So you would dial 988. Although the centers in Essex and Bergen counties are fully built and ready to open, along with 3 additional locations planned for Camden, Monmouth, and Morris counties, operators say they can't begin serving patients without sustainable funding. Mental health advocates and lawmakers warn the centers are a critical missing piece of the state's crisis response network. 8 men from New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Connecticut have been arrested following Operation Guardian Angel, which was a multi-state investigation targeting alleged online child exploitation. Authorities say the suspects used social media to allegedly communicate with and attempt to exploit minors, resulting in charges ranging from attempted child endangerment to attempted sexual assault and luring. Officials encourage anyone with information about suspected online child exploitation to contact the New Jersey Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. New Jersey has added 18 more businesses to its workplace accountability and labor list. It's called The Wall, bringing the total to 389 employers that collectively owe about $36 million in unpaid wages, benefits, or taxes. The businesses added in July alone owe more than $2 million. State labor officials say the public database has helped recover nearly $1 million since launching in 2023 by pressuring employers to resolve outstanding liabilities and comply with labor laws. Monroe Township in Gloucester County is facing a $300 million federal lawsuit after banning artificial intelligence data centers. Developer Hexa Builders claims that township officials illegally changed zoning rules and blocked its proposed 1 million square foot data center after public opposition intensified. The company argues officials improperly delayed its application until the new ban took effect, cute, and is asking the court to overturn the ordinances, approve its application, and award damages exceeding $300 million. So they let you buy a piece of property. It's zoned commercial. They say you can go ahead and build a business. They take your tax money. Then when you go to build a business, they change rules and laws and impose the new rules on you. Tell you not here, you can't build it here. So now you're stuck with a piece of property that's useless. That's what Democrats do. 857, Assemblyman Michael Inganamort, I always mispronounce his name. Forgive me, sir. Assemblyman Michael Inganamort is urging the Sherrill administration to block FIFA from selling preserved pieces of the grass field used during the World Cup final at MetLife. Inganamort argues that the grass was installed using New Jersey taxpayer funds on state-controlled property, making its sale potentially illegal without state approval. FIFA is offering a piece of the field for anywhere from $450 to $3,000 per piece, a move that could generate $11 million. And a new Rutgers Eagleton poll found 70% of New Jersey residents are proud to call the Garden State home, with 35% saying they have a lot of pride, and you should. And that's Mornings with Ken Rosato. I'm Ken Rosato. Good to have you with us. We'll see you again tomorrow morning starting at 7 a.m. Have a great day.